Right. Hello guys, welcome everyone. My name's Oliver. I know it's really hard to believe, but I'm not the ex-porn star you've all come to see. I am, however, a second-year student here at uni. I study English, and I co-run this group called Student Life. So, at Student Life, we generally like to create a community between students. So one of our aims is connecting people to one another. And one of the ways we do that is we invite lots of people to come in to talk about all the big questions in life, so faith, what people think about various topics, and we love to hear people's stories as well. So tonight we're going to hear the story of Teresa, who's going to introduce herself in a moment. One thing I have to ask before we start is we've got a few people taking pictures this evening. If anyone has a problem with their pictures possibly ending up on Facebook, you won't have any like mugshots, don't worry, but just like, because you're in this room, please come and see me at the end and we can sort that out, like if you have any problems with that. But for now, I'll hand you over to Teresa and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah? Okay, well, just to start, I just want to thank you all for coming because, wow, it's filled, so that's brilliant. My name is Teresa Carey. I was a porn star I was in the glamour industry and porn industry for 14 years in total. But I can't really start there. I've got to start right back at the beginning. When I was about 4, I would say, not that I went into porn at 4, but that's when I first started getting questions rising up in my own heart about why am I here? The kind of questions that you guys ask, the big questions in life. And I grew up in an atheist family that had no faith or belief in anything other than, well, one of the words I remember hearing my dad say not too long ago was, you live your life, it's like a treadmill, you get to the end and it falls off and you die. I was like, what? So that was the environment I grew up in. And every time, well, behind my bedroom window was obviously our garden, and behind our garden was a church. And every Sunday morning I'd be hearing the bells ringing. And I'd be tagging on to my mum saying, what's going on over there? Oh, nothing's happening over there, you know, people are a bit mad. But I still wanted to find out, and eventually she told me that they believed in God. And I was like, well, who's God? And she says, well, it's this man that sits on a cloud. And obviously, it didn't kind of ring true with me, but filled me with a little bit of wonder. And I couldn't shake this feeling inside of wanting to know the truth of why was I born. I remember asking my parents one day, why was I born? And they were, because we wanted a baby. Why? Obviously, like kids are, they've always got these questions, why, but I never kind of lost that in me. And I never got any answers. They couldn't answer me because of their views on life. And they had friends that were atheists and they couldn't give me any answers. And so as I was growing up, I grew up in a really poor part of Nottingham, Bestwood, if you know it. And there weren't really kind of any barriers or guidelines on my life. It was just kind of, I was growing and doing what I wanted to do. I didn't, like I say, the parents, because they didn't have faith in anything, there was no true kind of rules of life that were being instilled in me. I was becoming wild. But still, all this time, this little monster's growing, I'm still always asking, why am I here? And I'm looking through all different kinds of things. Tea leaves I started up when I was young. Is this going to tell me? And I kind of just went through everything but didn't get any satisfaction anywhere. And at 17, a guy come running to me. I was at a bus stop. And this guy came running out of a pub and said, here, this is number of a modelling agency in London, go and see them. And I was like, ooh! So I thought, yeah, I'll go and see them, really excited. Went down there, and they shipped me off to America as quick as you can say anything. And that was it. I was starting off doing modelling. It was only just modelling at first, because that's how it happens, you see. You start off just doing topless, and that's really nerve-wracking at first, and then once that's kind of normal, you start doing nude, and every little kind of step, you don't feel it, because you wait until you're okay with that, and then the next bit is just like the first time when you were just a little bit nervous, until you walk in so far and you think, hold on, I was only doing topless a year ago, and now I'm kissing girls, and I'm having videos taken of me touching girls, and you don't really see the transition, it just kind of creeps upon you. So anyway, before I knew it, I was doing full sex videos with girls. And about the same time, I met my husband, and strangely enough, his life kind of mirrored mine. But he grew up in Clifton, and his parents were atheist, as mine were, and he always had these questions. I think everyone's got these questions in their hearts. You know, why am I here? What is it all about? Who made the universe? And so anyway, when we got together, we decided that we were going to find out. And we kind of, both of us have got a spirit that is, start again. I will turn over every stone, and I won't leave anything unturned until I find the answer of what I'm looking for. So it's a kind of an unquenchable thing in my heart that I've got and he's got. And so I met him as I was just getting into it, and he didn't mind. He was, like I say, he'd gotten one of these guidelines that had been put by his parents to say, you know, stay away from that. We just thought, we saw, to be honest, money signs, dollar signs. We thought, we can just earn loads of money doing this, and who cares? We thought we could deal with it. And so that's what we did, and we earned a lot of money doing it. But at the same time, it's like we were two different people, really. We were like getting into all this porn, and it was all going really well. We thought, you know, I'd got my own show on Television X, and it looked like I was successful. But inside, I could never go home to my parents and say, look what I've just done, I've put this latest thing on and, you know, show you. Just couldn't do it, so I never, and I wanted that, you know, I'll be honest, I wanted the, you've done well, you know, but I couldn't get that, obviously. So all the time I'm feeling a little bit of condemnation from people. I didn't make any bones about it, I told them what I was doing, but they kind of just thought, right, well, lift the carpet up and we'll put that under there, well, no one has to know about it. And so it was swept under the carpet, nothing was said, and they just said, we don't want to see it. That was all it was, but they didn't fall out with me for it, they didn't even try and correct me. It was just, okay, like, we'll close our ears and eyes. So at this time, everything's going swimmingly, so we thought, me and my husband, are going through everything we can. We were reading the Quran, we're looking into Buddhism, we were I was doing yoga and all sorts of different things. I was just trying anything to reach God, to try and get this connection where I could get some answers. And 3 years into it all, this mental search that we were both going on, we picked up the Holy Bible. Why it was the last thing, I don't know, but it was. And I started reading the Gospel of John. We started reading the Gospel of John, which is the 4th Gospel. So we didn't even start at the beginning of that. We just here, there, and everywhere. But we got to, as we were reading it, we were thinking, God, this feels something in our spirit was being like a vibration. Something was moving in us, and we could feel it, and it was excited. And we thought, yeah, we're onto something here. Let's go with this. We got to the end of the Gospel of John and just put it down. We'd not read for a few days, and it was a day like any other day, a completely normal day. I'd been out doing, having sex with girls and getting pictures done. I'd come home with me discs, giving them to him, and he was computer buff upon uploading it all and putting it all on the internet. And we finished, we thought, right, time to chill. and in our computer room, in our old house in Gedlin, and just put on the Beatles, because I love them, and we were just chilling out, and it got back towards the end of the album, to a song called Across the Universe, and when that song started, something weird started happening to us in the room. The only way I can explain it to you is like when you're asleep at night, your body's in your bed, but you aren't. Well, you can be anywhere you like. Your visions come and you no longer are aware that you're asleep in your bed, you're aware of the place that you're in your dream. Well, it was like that, but it was happening to both of us, and we weren't asleep in bed, we were sat down listening to music. But anyway, no longer could I see the room that I was in, yet I could still hear the music. I could hear every last bit of it, and I was enjoying it. But the room that we was in disappeared, and all of a sudden we were taken in spirit. I know that I was taken in spirit, but how we would have appeared at that moment, I don't know. But we were both sat down in the room and transported to this most amazing place there was green fields everywhere, rolling hills, and the colours were amazing. They were neon almost, but they were like breathing, it's hard to describe, but the colours were kind of pulsating continually in brightness and radiance. And obviously we were in wonder. I couldn't see my hands anymore, or I wasn't aware of walking. I was aware of being low down, like I was on a train, like a kid's train. That was the movement I had. It was just a sensation. But I could see these like neon rainbow colours that I'm moving along. And over that side is a man in white. It wasn't Jesus, but he was doing all this that I'm doing now. So I know that he was talking to people, but I couldn't see the people because he was on like the summit of a hill. But I know that he was talking to people. And we were drawn to him. All the time I could still hear this song going on. So it's like I know how long parts of it lasted because I know what bits happened during the song. But anyway, back to it. I'm drawn to this guy over there in white, and we both are, we're moving. As we get to him, there's a huge hill behind him, and he does this, he goes like that, and he invites us in. And as he does that, the hill, a hill made of grass and things, opens up into complete blackness, and we fell in backwards. And as we went backwards, we then did like a whole rotation, and the moment I came up, I was face to face with Jesus. He had fire in his eyes that just burnt straight through my soul, like with authenticity, like I've never had from birth to now. It came straight through me, but it was a fire of love, burning love, not condemnation, not anger, but of real zeal, real love. And it floored me, obviously. I didn't hear anyone speak, but I got a download of information. It was made known to me that I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. I am forever, and I've always been, and you have always been with me. And he gave me a message to tell people of how much he loves you. I always get emotional when I speak of this because it's so... yeah, the message was to tell people how much he loves you, that you're not condemned, that no matter how bad that you think you have lived your life, he is able to take you out of it and lead you into better things. And that, like I say, these weren't words I heard, but it was, as my eyes were fixed on his, it was a download that came into me. And then all of a sudden I'm back in the room. And I looked to my husband, and he was a blubbering piece of jelly, like, oh! And then I looked at him, oh! And we couldn't speak for about 20 minutes, and when we finally did, it was just, yeah, I know that happened. So anyway, a couple of days later, I'm running to my mum and dad's house. I've seen Jesus! And they were like, no, you haven't. And it actually split our family in two. Porn they could deal with because they just put it under the carpet and no one had to know about it, and Even if other family members did find out that I was doing it, well, they wouldn't say anything because they don't want to tell anyone they were looking for it. You know what I mean? So it was all kind of, no one says anything. But me going, I've seen you, I can't shut up about it. They couldn't deal with it. So it was like a family tour in two, and I didn't see them for 7 years. Until my dad was like, she's on drugs! She's on drugs! And obviously, it took 7 years for them to see, hold on, she's stopped doing that. I think we're a bit slow, you know what I mean? For them to be able to see that actually my life, if I was on drugs, that it would have been going from bad to worse, to worse, to worse, but no, it was going better from strength to strength. So they're now at the position, bless them, where they're kind of scratching their head because they know that I'm speaking in universities to really intelligent people. They kind of think, yeah, but you didn't have any education. And so they're wondering now what it is that's got me here. But it is a higher thing, it's Jesus that's got me here. And so it actually took me 10 years to get out of the sex industry, even with Jesus in my life. This is why it's such a dangerous thing for, like, especially for girls to get into, because you think you can deal with it. I know that when I was in America doing a lot of work, a lot of the girls were English or Czech. The American girls, every single one of them that were models or started off as models and were porn stars out there, every single one of them to a T were women that were working, studying in universities, and they were using the money that they had so that they didn't have debt when they finished, which is understandable. But whilst you can be debt-free money-wise, there's something that you have to deal with inside your heart that you can't put to bed easily. And I found that out, obviously, thinking I could balance doing what I wanted to do, because yeah, God gives me free will. I saw Jesus in 1999, and it was only in 2002 that I actually stopped having sex with girls through porn, but I still carried on doing glamour work, glamour shots. Just because I thought, well, what am I going to do? I've got no education, I haven't been trained to do anything. How do I pay my bills? How do I pay my mortgage? How do I do this? How do I do that? And so I just continued doing it. But really, it was about faith for me, because the moment that I realised, hold on a minute, I have seen Jesus. He can lead me out of this. He ain't going to lead me down the garden path into some lion's den. If I say to him, help me, he'll get me out of this. So eventually in 2009 I decided that's it. I got every one of my contacts and I just deleted them, and I thought, I'm never ever doing it again. And I didn't work for a year because I was like, what do I do? But I really needed that year. I realise that now, to readjust myself again, to get okay with the things I'd done, and you know, it's like a dirty feeling. Sex became, me and my husband virtually never had it whilst I was doing porn, because it became as normal as, like, I don't know, opening the fridge. So mundane. You'd just be going around it from day to day at a normal shoot. Naked girls everywhere. It might sound exciting to guys, but you know, it strips something away, and what it strips away is that sacredness that should be reserved between people that love each other, and it's a union. You know, it is about love on a different level, but it becomes something dirty, and that's what it became for me. So it took about a year after getting out of the industry to be able to once again find this sacredness for my husband. It's a really dangerous thing, and that's about it really. I mean, that's my story. But any questions, I'll be really happy to answer. So